How to be Indie in Brazil. A weekly show by Geisa Fernandes.
Episode 6. My dad was born in the 19th century. A true story. My father was born on the 14th of November, 1897. 3 years before the closure of the 19th century. He was 75 years old when I was born, 43 years older than my mother. Do the math and you'll find out a grown-up talking to you, dear listener, in the 21st century. Pretty weird, right? I mean, I'm not talking about someone in my family from generations ago. I'm talking about my father. Yes, my dad. My dad was born in the 19th century. No catch here, a true story. My story. As time goes by, I think more and more about this quite peculiar situation, as if I would become more and more aware of the weight of 200 years on my shoulders, dramatically speaking, of course. You realize I did not use the word burden, because I don't think of it as a burden at all. As a matter of fact, I like it very much. I think it gives me a kind of advantage, almost as if I could have this vampire feeling of eternity. 2 centuries and still counting. Woohoo! Alive and kicking in it. It is also possible that we are having this talk because my dear Susan Miller said that Saturn is leaving my son, and all these issues concerning time, the weight of time, aging, well, you got the idea. This kind of concerns would be on my mind. Well, dear Susan Miller, you're right again. They are. Do you think about those things? Do you think about aging and stuff? I do. I think about time interfering in my work. I think of time as a tutor that teaches me very valuable lessons indeed. But I have to pay attention to it. I have to give time a time. If you're lucky, you get along well with it. And that's a wonderful experience, I can tell you. And believe me, because then again, I'm the one with 2 centuries on my shoulders, right? Big artists, the one that really matter, they've learned how to get along with time. And timeless works are actually quite connected to their time. That's the trick. Learning from the past, that's the trick. Quite obvious, quite forgotten, believe me. So it's time for this exercise of self-reflection. How's your relationship to time? Are you a prisoner of it? Are you afraid of it? Do you learn from it? The great Oscar Wilde used to say, experience is actually the name we give to our mistakes. Quite well put, Mr. Wilde, as usual. Well, in the first place, accepting failure is already a big help. Knowing that you fail, there's no shame in that. And as a grown-up in the 21st century, I'm quite aware that we are experiencing an era that tells us you always have to post your best picture, after making a few corrections here and there, of course. And what I'm telling you is that that's okay. But you also should save the copy of the original picture so that you can compare it as time passes. Let's face it, future anthropologists will have a hell of a time trying to sorting out fake information from real one, and that includes pictures and representations of oneself. I don't mind playing the game at all. as long as it's clear to me that is, "Oh, we are so happy and everything is okay" posts are only part of the game. As I see it, the work of a real artist should also include his or her failures, that is, experiences. In the words of Oscar Wilde. And who am I to mess with Oscar Wilde? So let's all have some fun having our experiences. Let's embrace time and let's learn from it. And why should you listen to me? Because I have 2 centuries of experience on my shoulders, that's why. Thanks for following me in this new episode of How to Be Indie in Brazil. As a final treat, while you deal with all those philosophical questions I've just raised, listen to Overseas, one of my experience in experimental jazz. Tell me what you think of it on the comments. Till next week, and for now, beijo!
I would love to write in ashes, things of no sense, nonsense, seems like the scheme in my head, fulfill the story, with fame and glory, a glimpse of tragedy, and no moon at all, ashtrays dance around the window, inviting to jump. It's hard nowadays to find good servants, that's for sure. No pain, no gain, no name, no gain. Overseas. I would love to write in ashes, things of no sense, nonsense, seems like a scheme in my head, fulfill the story, with fame and glory, a glimpse of tragedy, and no moon at all, ashtrays dance around the window, inviting to jump. It's hard nowadays to find good servants, that's for sure. No pain, no gain, no name, no gain. Overseas. I would love to write in ashes, things of no sense, nonsense, seems like the scheme in my head, fulfill the story, with fame and glory, a glimpse of tragedy, and no moon at all, ashtrays dance around the window, inviting to jump. It's hard nowadays to find good servants, that's for sure. No pain, no gain, no name, no gain. Overseas.
How to Be Indie in Brazil. A weekly show by Geisa Fernandes.